Rent to buy. How does it work? What is it? Have you heard of it? Have you not heard of it? It's phenomenal. Some of my clients are systematically going through their portfolio and they are raising their profits from their single AST properties by 3 times, 4 times in some cases, with less work than single ASTs. So let me explain how it works. Hi, I'm Flegg, founder of Ethical Property Partners, sophisticated property investing franchising. There are many people in the UK right now who want to buy property but aren't able to. If people have been furloughed, if people have been laid off, if people have been bankrupted in the past and now have really good businesses, if people have savings and they have a new income, but their new income isn't a very established one, or they're self-employed but they don't have the necessary number of years of books to show. Many people, some people have immigrated recently, have got really good businesses going, but can't get a mortgage until they've been in the UK for a number of years. All those people would make great rent to buy prospective purchasers for your properties. So how does it work? Well, let's say you've got a property that's worth £600 a month rent, and let's just say it's worth £120,000 as a market value right now. A rent to buy tenant comes along, and we've got specific adverts for attracting these kind of tenants. A rent to buy prospective tenant comes along and says, look, I'd like to buy this property from you. I can pay £900 a month. That's what my business or my income allows me to pay. And I want my own place. I don't want to be able to be evicted from it, etc. I want to be able to make it my own. I want to be able to add value to it, put extensions or conservatories. I want to be able to decorate and really make it my own. So what we do is we allow that person to purchase an option on the property right now at a fixed purchase price. So typically I'll do 10 years. So the person will actually buy an option from me to buy the property, not at today's market value. So if it's worth £120,000 today, I'd probably do it at about £145,000. So they're paying a surplus for this opportunity. So they're buying the property at a fixed price today, but obviously they're hoping for capital growth over that period of time. So that property could easily be worth £150,000, £180,000, maybe even £200,000 in the future. And we're giving them a service. We're allowing them to buy a property when they can't otherwise. So they're locking in that capital growth. Now we charge them the £600 a month as we would a tenant, but they also overpay. So they pay, in this instance, £300 a month, and that comes off the purchase price. Now a £600 a month rent might only make you £100 a month profit after you've paid your mortgage, after you've paid your letting agents, after you've taken into account maintenance, taken into account voids, might only make you £100 a month. Well, the great thing about a tenant buyer is they put down a deposit. So on that £145,000 property, most tenants would put down perhaps a £5,000 deposit. Some as little as £3,500, £4,000, some as much as £10,000. It really depends on their situation. But typically you're taking less of a deposit than they would need if they bought ordinarily. And this is another advantage to these tenants. But here's the great thing. If they leave or if they stop paying, they forfeit the money that they've paid, just like a normal mortgage. We're not giving them any lending, so there's no consumer credit issues. But just like if they paid a deposit on a mortgage and started paying on the house that they'd bought and then stopped, eventually they'd lose the property. It's the same principle. So they're very committed to keep paying, unlike normal tenants who aren't nearly so committed. So they have paid a deposit and they are overpaying each month. So their commitment to that property goes up and up. They become responsible for maintenance. So they don't contact us for any maintenance because they're acting as though it's their property. So that saves you a lot, and also you don't get any voids. So already, of that £600, instead of it being a £100 profit, it's now £150, let's say, a month, because you don't have maintenance and voids that you're covering. But they're not paying £600, they're paying £900. So now you have that additional £300. So our £100 has now become £450 per month of money that we can actually spend. And here's the great thing. if we have lending on that property, let's say if it's worth 120, we've probably got lending of £80,000 on it as an example. If we've got £80,000 lending and they've committed to buying it at 145, there's actually £65,000 worth of money there that we can take, we can use to invest in other properties, we can use to live on, before we have to start putting that money to one side, because when they buy from us, we have to pay our mortgage off at £80,000. So they pay us £5,000 straight away as a deposit, there or thereabouts, and they're overpaying by £300 a month. So can you see how we've taken a property where you only were making £100 a month and you had maintenance and you had voids, and now you've got a property that pretty much you can forget about, where the tenant's going to improve it, they're going to look after it, and you've got a nice injection of cash. And when you take that as a whole, this is a phenomenal strategy for a recession. It's phenomenal for the buyer, the tenant, but it's also phenomenal for you, because if interest rates go up, we actually link that £600 to interest rates. So the 900, that 300 extra per month is actually baked in. So if interest rates rise, the 600 becomes 700, 800, and the 300 stays on top. That's a really good way of protecting yourself against interest rate rises. You can't do that with a single AST. You can't say, oh, if interest rates go up, your rent's going to go up. Tenants wouldn't sign up to that, but tenant buyers would, because they recognise that if they had a mortgage, it would be the same. If they had a mortgage, the interest rates would go up and down the same as a tenant buyer do. So really, really good strategy for you to protect your portfolio through a recession and actually increase your cash flow massively. Some of my clients are signing up one of these every 2 months or so. So that's a chunk of £5,000, £6,000, perhaps more, perhaps a little less, every 2 months. Plus, they're going from £100 a month to £300 a month, £400 a month on each property on an ongoing basis. It's phenomenal, guys. And if you're thinking to yourself, yeah, but eventually you're going to lose your portfolio. Yes, we're selling our portfolio, but if you're a sophisticated investor in a recession, you should be buying loads of properties. And so actually your portfolio is growing. You're monetizing the sale of these properties over time at a really good sale price, remember. So you're selling in a recession, not at below market value, but at significantly above market value, and you're securing really good cash flow, which means you can go buy other properties. Guys, if this is your first time watching, click the subscribe button, click the notification bell, and any questions you've got at all, pop them in the comments box. We'd love to hear from you. Happy investing.